Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we have created one of the model, we have created one of the migration table, and also we have created one of the table as a categories, and then also we created one of the controller and put some of the route, and here we created one of the view page. So all that procedure we complete, and now I want to create one of the form, and also I want to add some of the validation of the form. So how can add that form validation? In this video, I will show you that things with a live example. For doing this, in our category page here, I want to update it. Okay, so here I want to update that design. So that is in our category page. That means if you go our route, so I have already loaded our controller, and that is our all category one of the method. That means it should be redirected to our all categories. That means our category controller, and that is our all cat one of the method. And here I return one of the view page, right? Into the admin folder, there is a category folder, that is our index. So that is our index page. So now I want to update this part. Here better I want to do that is our one part. So I want to actually segment it. I want to add one of the part as a row 8, and that is another column I want to add as a 4. Then it should be better. So that is I have already loaded that row, right? So after that, okay, after that I take another div, better. So I take another div, and also I want to close it. I close this div, and here I take one of the class. I take one of the class, and I name this class as a, they have into the bootstrap, they have one of the class as a card. Okay, so before card I want to add one of the column. So I add that column, and I want to make it as a column MD as a 8. That means this part will be as 8 part. And also after that I want to take another div. Okay, sorry, I take another div, and I close this div. And then here I take another class, and there is another bootstrap class as a card. I want to use it as a card, so I want to use it. Okay, and also I take another div. Everything will be very much clear to you, friend. If you know little bit the bootstrap, that is very much common, one of the all that class. I want to use another class, and there is another class as a card header. Okay, I name it as a card header. So that is will be our card header. For the card header, I want to make it as a all category. Okay, that will be as a all category, and that is our div. So I want to take this div on here, and then there is our call 8. I have already add both of these, so I card 2 of this. Okay, I card 2 of this and div, and with the table, so that is our table, and after this table I want to add both of this. Okay, so after this table here I add both of this. Perfect. Now if you click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, yes, you can see it's perfect. So now that is our all category, and that is our card. You can see that is our card header, and that is our card. Perfect. And now you can see it's now showing as a call one of the 8, and here I want to take another one as a call. So better after this, that is our to div is closed. So that is our to div is closed on here. So that is our to div. So better I want to take another one. I copy it, and now after this div I take another 2 of this. That means right now that will be as a 4. So in row I have already added that row, right friends? So you can see I have already added that row. In row they have that 12 column. So for the reasons here I take our 8 column, and now I want to take another column as a 4 column. Okay, so for the 4 column there is a 1 div, there is another div, there is a 2 div we have to finish. Better I copy it. So here I finish 2 of this div. Perfect. So that will be our 2 of this div. One is this one, another is this one, and I also want to take another one as a all category. So that is our all category. So now I want to make it as a add category. So here I want to load one of the form, in particular that area. So now if you click as a save all, first of all I want to check it. So now if you refresh it, yes, you can see that is our add category. So here I want to load one of the forms. So if you want to load this form, go to that Bootstrap. Into the Bootstrap, if you go to that components, into the components, they have the form. Maybe you can see there is actually the forms. So into the forms area right now, I want to take this form. Okay, I want to take this form. Better I copy it. I copy this form, and here that means that is actually all that code, actually form code. I copy this form code, and now I want to do after this. Okay, here I paste it. Perfect. So that is our form, and that is our and form. So here we don't need some of the things like that is small. We don't need this. I remove it. And now here I only want to take one form, actually. That is one field as input field. There is another field for the password. So I don't need this. I remove everything from here. Okay. I only take one of the button. Button will be as add category. Okay, that will be as a add category. So this type of one of the button I want to take, and then that will be our category name. So here I name it as a category name. Okay friend, that will be as a category name, and that is our input field. I name it as a text field. That will be as a text field. Perfect. So that is our form, and then that is our total dev. Perfect. Now if you click as a save all, now let's check this out. Now if you refresh it, yeah, now you can see it's now showing as a add category, and that is our category name, and that is our field. So here I want to also add another card body class, then it will be actually better. Here that is our card, and after that card I take on the card header, and after that I take another div. Okay, I take another div, sorry, I take another div, and then I close this div, and here I take one of the another class. Okay, I take another class that have the another class as a card body. So I take it as a card body, and then I want to take out this form into the card body area. So for the reasons I cut it from here, that is our form, and after this form I want to take finish it on here. Okay friend, so that is our another one. So I finish it. Perfect. So now let's check this out. If you click as a save all now, and now if you refresh it, yeah, you can see it's now perfect. So that is our add category, that is our category name, it's now looking great, and then that is our add category. Perfect. That means that category submit button. So now I want to insert some of the category from here. So I want to create some of the category. If you click as add category, this category will be saved in our database, this table, right? So before insert this data, I want to validate it. That means I want to add some of the validation. So if you want to add that validation, first of all, here we have to create another method for this one. Like if you go to that form, okay, that means that is actually our div, and then that is our button, and that is our button. So into the form area, friend, that is all that basic and very much core functionalities, friend. So if you understand that core functionality, every time we will use the same concept for our everything. Okay, so for the reasons you can see that is actually the form. Into the form area, here you have to add some of the action. So I add one of the action, and into the action area, that means when you click as a add button, that means this submit button, here it should be redirected to particular this action area. So into the action area, where exactly it should be redirected, here you have to set it. Okay, so I want to set it. I take one of the route. So I name it on the route, and to the route area I want to add one of the route name. So like here I name it as a store. Okay, store category, whatever you want. So we have to create this route. So when you click as a submit, it should be redirected to our this store category area. Okay, and also after that you have to add another method. So here I have to add that method as a methods. So I added that method, and method will be as a post method, because from here I want to insert this data, right? So it will be as a post method. And also after that I have to make that sure you add that CSRF token, because when you submit it, it's automatically created one of the CSRF token. So here you have to add this CSRF token. You add it at the rate, and then CSRF. Without this CSRF token, you cannot insert, that means you cannot post any data. So make that sure you add that CSRF token. And then our method I have added as a post method, and that is our route. So now we have to create our this route. We have to create it in our web. So go to our web route. So that is our one category. So now I want to add another route. I paste it. So first of all, I want to put the name. It should be as a category add. So this type of one of the URL I want to add, and into the category controller, I want to create one of the method. I name it as a add. Okay, add cat. That means the add category, and the name I have already declared that route name. I have already declared that route name as a store category. So now I want to use it. So here I name it as a store category. I hope, friend, it's very much clear to you. So that will be our store category. So that's all you have to do. So that means when you actually submit this form, it should be directed to our category storage. This route, it should be directed to here, and then it should be redirected to our category controller add card method. So now we have to create this method in our category controller, right? Now go to our category controller. So I have already created one, and now I want to create another one. So here I want to create another one as a public, and then function. So that is a public function, and our method name as a add cat. So from here I want to insert this data. That means before insert, I also want to add the validation. That means that will be our method, right? So now I want to work in particular that area. So when you insert this data, that means when you pass any post request, so here you have to add as a request. So that is very much common, and that is default one. Okay, here you have to add it with a request. So that means the request, QUEST. Okay, request, and then you take this with the $request. So that is the default one. So here you have to add that request and then the $request. Okay, and after that I want to add that validation. So if you want to add that validation, if you go to that Laravel official website, and here if you search with the validation, okay, if you search with the validation, the basic, and in the basic validation area, here they have also some of the validation things I show you. You can see that is actually the validation code. So that is a default one. Better I copy it. I copy everything from here, and now I want to add it on here. So that is the validation, the request, the validate, and that is a default one, and that is your field name. So into the field name, that is a required. So if you want to make that field as a required, you can record it. If you want to make it as a unique, a specific sum of the category, you can make it as a unique, as a specific sum of the category here, and then maximum length. So I show you for the reasons in our index, into the index that have also one of the input field, right? So into the input field area, I want to put that this input field name. That means that is our input field. So I want to add that input field name. I name it as a category name. Okay, I name it as a category underscore name. So this type of one of the name I want to add for our this input field, whatever you want. So right now I make it as a category name. I hope it's very much clear to you, friend. So now I want to add this field name. I copy it. I want to add some of the validation for this field. So that will be our field name, right? So now this field is required. That means here you cannot make it as a empty. When it should be as a empty, it should be show some of the validation message. And also I want to make it another things like this category will be unique. This category will be unique in our this table. That means here I want to create it. I want to insert this data into our categories table. Like if you create as a one of the category as a fish, then you cannot insert the fish same name category on here. So for the reasons here, I want to make it as unique. It should be unique in our which table. It should be unique only our this categories table. And also I want to make that maximum length. That means how many character you want to add, and that means you want to add on here. So maximum character limit you can set. So right now default one as a 255. So if you want to make it as a 2, if that means only 2 character category will be applicable for this, rather than it should be show some of the validation. So right now 255 is okay with me. I hope you can well understand about it, friend. So here if you create another one, then you have to add this field name and you can make it as a required. So that is the same functionality. So right now we don't need this because of all right now I have only one field as a category name. So now here I added some of the validation. So now I want to visible these validations, right? That means it should be check it if this field is empty, then it will be show some of the validation. It will be show that unique name and the maximum length. So all that validation, if you want to visible it, so they have in Laravel they have another building error functionality. So now I want to visible it in our index page, and that means here it will display. Okay, so here if you want to display it like that is our dev. So after before this dev, okay, so here into the input field area I want to visible it. So here they have in building one of the function as a error, so I want to use it as a error. So error into the error for our what? For our which field I have already declared that validation. I declared that validation for our this field as a category name. So now I want to add this category name. So that will be our category name, right, friend? And I want to make it as a finish it. That means that will be as and error. So that will be as and error. And here I want to visible one of the span. Okay, I want to use the span. I also want to close that span. I want to close it, and here I want to display one of the span class. Okay, I want to use one of the span class, and this span class will be right now I want to make it better as a danger, then it will be better. So I make it as a, there is another class as a text danger. That means it will be as a red actually. And here I want to show our this validation message. So if you want to display this validation message, there is actually all that building. Here you have to display it with the another message. So dollar message. Okay, so that is a dollar message. So that is all that building functionality. So now it should be display all that our validation. Okay, friend. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, I click as a save all. Now go here, refresh it. So now I want to make it as a blank. And now if you click as a add category, so now you can see, friend, it's now showing as a the post method is not supported for the route. Because of all I understand what exactly the things I did. Here you can see I declared that method as a post method. But if you go to our web route, into the web route you can see I name it as a get. So it should be as a post method, right? Because of all that will be as a post method. So now I want to make it as a change. I want to make it as a post method. So make that sure you add it as a post. So now perfect, click as a save all. So when you actually face any error actually help you to understand that every part. Like I remove it, I go back, click as a refresh. Now I make it as a empty, click as a add category. Yes, you can see, friend, now it's showing as a this category name field is required. That means that is the validation. That is our first validation. So in particular that area I have already make it. That means this field is required, right? And you can see there is a by default message is visible. So as I told you, that is a building one of the functionality as a error functionality. So I didn't write any this type of the message, but it's display this message. So it's display this message with this validator. So by default that is actually one of the functionality with this error. It's now display this message. Okay, so now you can see it's now display this message. But here if you want to show your customized message, that means if you want to show a specific message that you want to display, you can also do that work. How can do that work? I show you. For doing this you have to do in your category. That means that is actually our validations, right? So into the validation area here from to this our start bracket, I copy it. Okay, I copy it, and then after this I put one of the comma, and after this here I take another one. So that will be our field name and field which message you want to visible. That is actually the three validation. One is the required, one is the unique, and another is the maximum, right? That means the max. So I want to display for the requirement. Okay, that means the required. So here after that you have to use that as a required. And after that required, what type of message you want to visible? I want to visible, it will be display as a please input category name. So that is my message. Okay, that means this message I want to visible. That is our default one. So right now I don't want to display this default one. I want to display this message as a please input as a category name. Okay, that means that is actually our customized message. So I want to visible it. So better here. I want to add it. That means here. Perfect. So now it's locative. So that is our first requirement, and that is our unique message, and that means my message I want to visible. Now let's check this out. If you click the save all, so that was default one. Now refresh it. Now click as the add category. Yes, you can see now that is our customized message is visible. There is a please input category name. I hope, friend, you can well understand about it. So you can actually display default one, rather than if you want to display your own name, you can also display it. And also if you want to display the same for our maximum, you can also do that work. Like here you have to copy it. Better I paste it. I just copied, and now here I paste it, and it should be as our this field, and then that is our validation as a maximum. So here you have to add it, and for the maximum, what type of message you want to display, you can actually display it on here. I want to display it as a category less than 250. Okay, 255 character. So this type of one of the message, then it should display. I hope, friend, it's very much clear to you how can add some of the validation, how can add the default validation. If you want to change it, if you want to display your own message, you can also display it. So friend, we successfully complete this part. Here we load one of the form, and also how can add some of the validation. I hope you get some of the idea how we can actually add some of the validation. So now we are ready to insert this data. Okay, as I told you, friend, you can insert it by two of this way. One, you can use that Eloquent ORM. You can also use that query builder. Don't worry, I will share both of these with you. Which you like, then you can use it as per your demand. Okay, so how can insert this data? That means from here, I want to insert some of the category data in our database. How can do that work? In our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.